Hello, and welcome to Art, Creativity, and Wellbeing. This is the show where we are always working to support you to give as much care and love for yourself as you do for your loved ones and the people in your world. And we're doing that in quite a special way today, and I'll get to that in a moment. I am Kay Lockcope. I'm a coach, I'm a creator, I am a through hiker who used to need a wheelchair, and today I am here with a friend and someone who I just know you're going to love hearing from. Um, and I'm so glad to be able to bring her on. Her name is Chief Cara Rossi. She is the police chief in Ashland, Massachusetts, and she has a really wonderful, maybe relatively unique way of leading, which is with love. And Cara, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And I'm your friend, so I'm probably going to find myself alternating between Cara and Chief Rossi.
Okay.
If
You,
that's all right.
you know what? Cara is fine.
Yeah, amazing.
It's not often that I get to hear my first name. So
Mm,
it's I I enjoy just being Cara.
oh, that's wonderful. All right. We agreed that we were going to start with a. We have well, first of all, we've got a bunch of questions. Our listeners really came through with amazing curiosities and questions. And one of the, as we have been talking about this conversation, one of the things that you've sort of brought up and with a wish to highlight is, and I'll just read what you said a few minutes ago. Local law enforcement and state law enforcement are not federal law enforcement. And there's a lot going on in our country right now. And I think that felt like a really important distinction for you. And I'm curious if you can help us understand, first of all, why that's important, and second of all, what it really means.
So particularly a local law enforcement agency, for the most part, we're your neighbors. We coach your kids. We live in town. We pay
Mm,
taxes. We go to the same church and the same grocery store and restaurant. We're part of your community. I think that is the major difference between other types of law enforcement. As we discussed, as a political figure, whether I want to be or not,
mm,
I am. Um, I have to temper personal opinion and what my obligations are. So, um, so we as law enforcement in Massachusetts are bound by certain regulations, like the Lund decision, where we are prohibited from interfering with federal law enforcement. Um, that said, if there is federal law enforcement going on, we are obligated to ensure the safety of everyone in our community, and that is
mm,
everyone in our community, and that's our role, is
mm.
to make sure that we do everything we can to keep people safe.
Yeah, that that feels like leading with love. Yeah, yeah. Um, I am curious, and we've talked about this a little bit uh, in our conversations, but I'm curious how the idea of operating this way, as in leading from love, like how did it occur to you? How did it happen?
So the first time I heard someone speak to that was at the FBI National Academy. I was
Mm,
there for 10 weeks back in 2022. And one whole 8 hour class was taught by a man who put a quote on the bulletin board that said, leadership looks a lot like loving people. And that
wow.
really struck me. And I thought, you know what? He's right. He's right. Because as a leader, if the people that you're leading feel loved and they feel cared for, they in turn are going to love and care for others. It's
Mm,
as simple and as basic as Maslow's need hierarchy, if you really think about it, like how you treat someone in effect reflects on how they treat others. And I think it's critically important in a job like ours, mine, um, that the people that I lead know that I love them and I care for them.
Mm,
Um, I see it reflected back continuously in how they treat the community and the public.
wow.
Um, just a couple quick examples, if I could. And
Absolutely, please.
these are things that never get out because we don't really publicize them. But um, we have a cleaning crew here, and it's a one-man crew for our
Hmm.
entire building. And we love him, Paulo. He's just the sweetest, nicest, most caring guy. He takes such good care of us. Well,
Mm,
he locked his key fob in his car. Couldn't get in, well, he couldn't find it, and we didn't know it was in the car, but we didn't know. Couldn't get in, couldn't drive without the key fob.
mm,
So he was all upset, didn't know what to do. The union took it upon themselves to quickly get someone off duty to go and get a copy made. They bought it. It was $150. They bought it, brought it back to him because his wife was at work, couldn't. It was just this whole thing. And I see him, and he's in his 60s, grown man, and he's crying because he couldn't believe the love that was
wow.
shown. And so I asked the guy who went and did it, and he's like, he does everything for us, chief. He does everything for us. And
Mm,
that's the simple, the
mm,
love that I think is the foundation of all human relationships. But if you can bring it to an environment that historically doesn't naturally operate that way, I think just good things keep happening.
yeah. Wow. I'm really glad you said that about it not naturally operating that way. Because the so many people, when I started sharing, I'm having this conversation, expressed complete surprise that there's a police department that operates this way. And I think what I'm gonna, you and I were speaking before about how we have a great time talking, and we've got these questions, right? I'm not gonna just blow them at you one by one. Instead, I'm gonna go where my curiosity goes, and I'm sure they will all be addressed. Um, so many people were curious about, well, I to your comfort level to speak about this, but like it was a bit of a different situation before you arrived as chief in Ashland.
Yes.
And I wonder if you could give us a bit of a flavor of that. And then what was it like to come into that
Yeah.
situation?
Um, so it, it is a very masculine environment. If you look at leadership in policing nationally, internationally, between 1% and 3% of police leaders are female.
Mm,
And I really do think that the culture change that we're slowly seeing, particularly we're lucky in Massachusetts, especially here in our little Metro West area of the state,
hmm.
there are a lot of female chiefs. Well, a lot,
Yeah, what's a lot,
probably like
right?
7% as opposed to 1%. But
Wow, that is a
I mean,
lot.
we're doing a good job of seeing that it's not being resisted by the troops. I
Mm,
don't think they're really resisting the culture shift, which is going from that paramilitary, um, post 9/11, having big, army tanks and all that stuff is still necessary. We still have the very important job of law enforcement
mm,
and public safety. But particularly in small communities, it's important to understand that that is a very small percentage of what we actually do and what the
mm,
need is in the community.
mm,
There's more of a need for the community policing, for the helper and the healer, as opposed to the enforcer. Um, but again, we have to be prepared for anything that could happen.
mm,
Uh, but what was really surprising to me is how completely the department embraced the community policing philosophy, getting out there and doing things. And the joy I see on the faces of the people who work with me when
Mm,
they're able to, we have a child that got some strange form of the flu that turned into, they were in ICU for like 3 weeks.
hmm. You
Um,
mean one of the staff in Ashland's child?
no, no,
No.
no, a community member.
Okay, yeah.
Well, the guys heard about it, the guys and girls heard about it, and they see, I always go back to the guys.
Yes,
It's
I think that was a lovely catch.
yeah, 32 years in this industry.
Yeah.
There's three females here, including me.
Mm, wow.
So it's, yeah,
And I
it's
appreciate that
havoc.
you shifted a little bit. So the
It's
guys and
havoc.
girls, yeah.
Guys and girls, um, they heard about it and they immediately said, we need to do something for this family.
Mm,
So they went and they got toys and a tablet for the little girl and invited the family in, got balloons, got the brother a bunch of presents because he's had to shift his life. And
mm,
um, that's not me doing it.
mm,
I had nothing to do with it. So the the foundation of love has translated throughout the department.
mm,
And I can't think of a single member. Even there are like the gruff older generation
mm,
that was raised in a different sort of mindset
mm-hmm,
that they all come around. Not to the same degree. There are obviously people who enjoy it more, but every single member of my staff participated in our first annual public safety night that we had. That was all planned by the staff, and
wow,
we had about 2,000, 2,500 people show up. We
wow.
had rides and we had games, and it was just a way for the community to get to know us. And that had never been done before. And
Mm.
now it was such a huge hit that we're being asked to do it every year. So,
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the different, ways that people that your members are. A question that we got, and I just loved it so much, was how does Chief Rossi handle those officers that are so tough, those that chew nails? It seems like they might not want to be led with love.
well, every human being, for the most part, wants to feel loved and cared for.
Mm,
And it is, I like to think, a matter of experience and emotional intelligence to know how to treat everyone differently. There are
mm,
some people that don't want a lot of demonstrative praise because it makes them uncomfortable.
mm,
There are those that they just have a different personality, and you just have to, regardless of what industry you're in, if you're a leader, you need to know your people and you need to treat them the way that they want to be treated.
mm, mm.
So it's not a one, brush answer for everything. It's
Y-
more of spending the time and the energy getting to know your people and their personalities.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's so interesting because when someone hears that word love, a lot of times what will come up is sort of this idea of everyone standing around holding hands and you know dancing under the stars or whatever. And I think what you're speaking to is that there is real strength in kindness
And
and that
I
go
also
ahead. Yeah.
think the willingness to be vulnerable, to
Yeah.
not be this, I think of the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain,
Mm,
like that's the way that the chief that I had for my first 17 years. You didn't see him, you didn't hear from him. If the only time something came down it was negative. And
mm,
that I'm not knocking him because that's how this profession was
mm,
for a long time, paramilitary. Um, but I think we're seeing, or at least I hope we're seeing a shift where chiefs are coming out and saying, I'm just like you. Yes, I might be the boss. I'm the number one. I'm the person in charge. But at the end of the day, we're all just people.
Mm,
Um, Willingness to be vulnerable and accessible, that's, I think, showing love.
mm,
I care about you enough to know your wife's name, to know your kid's name, to ask about their sports teams, just to feel like you're not just a robot, a machine, get out in the cruiser and go.
mm,
Like it's being a part of something bigger because we spend more time with our coworkers than we do with our family out of
mm,
necessity.
mm-hmm,
So this has to be sort of a second family, in my opinion.
mm,
And in this line of work, your life truly depends on your coworkers.
mm. That you've just queued up another question. Very, very. I love because a lot of these are being answered in the subtext as well. But this one, I was really curious what you'd say. Um, how? Where is it? Okay. How has Chief Rossi been leading with love to de-escalate any tensions between like the layers of uniforms? In other words, how has her leadership style shifted the dynamics within the department?
So I like to think of the Ashland Police Department as it's a democracy. I mean, it's not everyone's opinion matters. It doesn't matter if you don't have, the 4 stars or the
Mm,
bar or the stripes. Your opinion matters as much,
mm,
regardless of rank. Yes, we have SOPs and we have guidelines and rules that, there's certain layers of supervision and things that you have to do, but it doesn't mean that you're not free to express your opinion in the appropriate way at the appropriate time, not out in
mm.
the street during a call when your sergeant gives you an order, you're going to follow it
Yeah.
as long as it's legal and the right thing to do. But it, it doesn't mean you can't come back and have a discussion. And in a small department like this, it's even more critically important because the chance for promotional success is so limited because there are so few spots.
Mm,
So to empower everyone to know that they are leaders regardless of their rank or title, they have an opinion that matters that can shift, how things are done in the department, and to make them feel able to communicate that to, I mean, I keep my door open all the time.
mm,
Um, encouraging the chain of command and how things are supposed to go. But I often have people come in, they just want to talk.
mm,
And that feels good because that was not something I had ever experienced.
mm.
I never
Yeah.
had that experience. But it makes them, I think, feel empowered a little bit that the boss is listening to
Yeah.
them. Their opinion matters. It keeps them engaged, I think.
Yeah.
It keeps them I mean, burnout in this industry, I think you mentioned it a little bit before. Burnout is very real.
Mm,
It's um, it's hard. It's hard to stay energetic and focused when there's a lot of negativity surrounding your profession.
mm,
There's a lot of perceptions, um, and it does affect them because most police officers, obviously there are a lot that aren't, but most go into this profession with all of the right intentions.
mm,
Um, they're helpers and healers, and they want to do good things and help people. Um, that is not what we see in mainstream media and
no.
social.
Yeah.
The focus is 100% on the negative for the most part.
Mm,
Um, and it's hard. It's hard to stay positive, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what occurs to me too is it I would imagine it feels like a real relief to not have to expend energy on like being the person in charge and like don't talk to me because I'm in charge and you're just someone who, who can't talk to me, right? Like, but if there's an energy of come on in, if there's something on your mind, let's talk about it. Um, that's got to feel like just such a much less friction place.
Yeah. We have a very laid back department. Now, we run a tight ship,
Mm,
myself and the command staff. We run a tight ship because we have to. I mean, think about the power that we have um, to take someone's liberty, to take someone's life if we have to. I mean, that's
mm,
a lot.
mm,
So obviously, we have to be very rigid in some ways, but we love to get together, off duty. I'll go in real quick and then leave so they can have fun because I'm still the boss at the end. And, they won't really be themselves in a social setting if I'm there.
mm,
Um, but they do things together and their families get together. And I think that makes a huge difference.
mm, mm. And you're reminding me too, Cara, when we first spoke, I remember one of the first things that you told me that you did was you implement, and then I've gotten to meet her, was a ride along, a full-time ride along therapist.
Yes.
And and that was part of a larger conversation about respecting everyone, even though I think what made me think of this was you were just referencing like we have a very immense, important power, and it is the power to remove someone's liberty if we need to, and it is the power to remove someone's life if we need to. So it's obviously it seems like it would be logical that there would be some care taken to understand the dynamics. And what's coming to mind for me, this is a little silly, but we'll see if it resonates. There's a meditation that I love. There's a podcast called First This. It is a 10-minute mindfulness meditation podcast, and she did an episode. Her name's Catherine. She did an episode one time called "Your Umbrella," and it was a story, and it was about someone who was on their way to like a class, and their cab driver robbed them. And they get to the class and they're like, I don't know what to do. Like that was the money for my family's food, and what it's a meditation class. And what the meditation teacher says is, my dear, with all the love in your heart, you should have taken out your umbrella and hit them over the head with it. Because sometimes, and of course it's a metaphor in that situation, right? But
Yeah.
sometimes it's the boundary that we set, it's the energy that we have of like, what am I not going to do here? That feels important. And I think there's a because if you're hitting someone over the head with respect, with all the love in your heart, you're doing it with respect. In my opinion, and I think there's something there that feels like how you all are in the community is it's not that you don't do the hard things, it's that you do them with a real understanding and respect for who they are, what you're doing. Like, does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. And um, there has been a real push for our clinicians to be, sorry, I gotta hang that up.
Nope, no, no
Uh,
worries.
I don't know how to use my new phone
Amazing.
to show you my 55 years of age because it's all crazy. But the clinician is for the community
Mm,
in theory. So we are very lucky to have Kirsten. She's an Ashland resident, an Ashland mom.
mm,
She's got her JD, so she understands the law.
mhm.
She's a master's level social
So, and
worker.
sorry, JD is
She's an attorney,
okay. Okay, thank you.
non-practicing.
Okay.
Um, she got her Juris Doctorate. So she understands law more than most,
Mm.
including she is for the public. However, I see, because her office is directly across from mine,
Mm,
I'll see just this organic way that the troops will come up and they'll sit down and they're talking about a case or a client or something, but then I can hear them and they want to talk to her.
Mm,
They're doing this informal sort of counseling. And I
mm,
think that is almost as beneficial for the community
yeah,
that we have that resource as
yeah,
it is to have her out. It's been really, really good for everybody.
yeah. Really special. And there's a kind of, I wonder if this is how it is for you. There's almost a kind of listening where you can hear the tone and you can hear I don't know, the informality of it. And you're not listening to the words, but you're just like, that is such a great moment or conversation that
Yes.
yeah, yeah. It's so nice to be able to um, relax into that. You know?
And I never would have imagined how the entire department embraced her.
Mm,
Um, it, there were clinicians here before that, and again, I think it all starts at the top and the expectations and the culture of the department, but they didn't last, they didn't fit in, they didn't want to be. Um, Now, if she doesn't go to roll call, the sergeant might call up to me on my phone and say, "Hey, is Kirsten here today?" And they
mm,
want her around.
yeah.
She's such an important member of our department.
And the like what's coming to mind, not sure, nothing on the people who came before her, but when in the time that we got to talk, I felt this too. She's not, quote, trying to fix anyone. You know, she's not a therapist who's like, I can help you. She's like,
Right.
how are you? Like it's very genuine and non pressure. There's
Exactly.
not any,
It's
yeah,
not
it's
a
just,
clinical
yeah,
situation at all. It's
yeah,
it's very um, caring,
yeah,
loving,
yeah, loving.
at
Yeah,
loving people.
yeah, yeah. Uh, I think so. The questions that have been about what does it mean to lead with love? Like I think a lot of these a lot of them, whether we've addressed them specifically or you know the kind of questions that they are. I think the other one that comes to mind for me is are there well two actually are there times where this approach didn't work, like where leading with love. Yeah, that was the question asker asked. Are there times when this approach didn't work?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't always, at the end of the day, I'm still the boss.
Mm,
And it, I have to walk that balance of I can't be too comfortable with
mm,
people because that in some ways will erode my ability to do the hard things because sometimes there has to be discipline and sometimes there has to be sanctions. And it is a balancing act because at the end of the day, I'm not their friend, I'm their boss.
mm,
But it doesn't mean that I don't care about them. It doesn't
mm,
mean that I don't have their best interest in mind. I think part of it is that we are very deliberate here of not looking to catch people doing something wrong. We're more interested in looking to catch people doing something right.
mm,
Uh, Not to say that we ignore any wrongdoing, um, but there's so few. So I think last year we got one citizen's complaint. And
mm,
the bottom line was they were very unhappy that they didn't register their car and it got towed and because it can't legally stay on the road. And
mm.
it wasn't for behavior of an officer.
Wow.
It
It
was,
was the
yeah,
only one in all of 2025, and it wasn't. Wow,
yeah.
that is wow.
Um, this year, we've had two, um, both um, people with long histories of emotional disturbance and one had a warrant and was not happy about being arrested. I mean, it's just not, no one has ever accused the officers of doing anything illegal,
Mm,
immoral. It's more, like complaints about the process, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really proud of that because for a small department, you would be surprised how busy we are. So last year we had 14,300 and something logged calls.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Wow.
lot for a
That's
small town.
and Ashland is it like 11,000 people or something? Maybe it's even more now.
No, we're more now. We're about 19, well,
19,000.
19,000 people that complete their census form.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
We
I
just
would, yeah, we're
yeah,
probably more around about 20,000.
20,000. Um, it's funny because I think it's all relative, right? I currently live in a town. We just filled out our census form actually with 750 people in it.
Yeah.
And but I grew up in Ashland and I lived in, I lived nearby for my adult life until moving up here last September. And so there's a I think this is what's often described as a small town feel, right? Like
Yeah.
it's got a nice people know each other. There's familiarity, and how wonderful that the department is part of that. I wanted to come back to something because I know that sort of speaking theoretically, I can remember you saying like if something I'm not looking for bad behavior on the part of my members, right? If something might were to come up, I think was how you said it. Like instead of publicly, I don't know, setting sanctions or starting something, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call that person into my office and I'm going to say, "Are you okay? What's going on? Like, can I support?" And I think that's the distinction between a friend and like a leader that leads with love because your friends are there to listen and hug or
Yeah.
whatever version of, go running together, whatever version of it that it is, right? A leader who can say, we've, there have been reports, something's come back to me that all is not well with you, and I'm curious what it is and if I can help.
Mhm.
And then there's that vulnerability of, I would imagine even asking that question can feel a little vulnerable, right? And then hopefully for that person to be able to open up and say, you know what, like,
Because at the end of the day, you want to fix the
yeah.
problem. You don't want behavior to continue, and you don't want your employee to marginalize or become, a poor employee. You want to fix whatever's going on so you have a happy, healthy, vibrant member of your department.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. Well said.
Because honestly, it miserable, unhappy police officers are not who you want responding to your worst day of your life.
Yeah.
Because people, for the most part, only interact with the police very few times in their life. And it's usually during a traumatic event.
Mm,
It's
mm.
not usually, everything's going well. I think I'll call the police and have them respond to my house. It's
Yeah,
because
exactly.
something's wrong and you need
Yeah.
us to help fix it. So you want someone there who's not disgruntled, who's not going through some personal trauma. You want someone with a clear head, ready to come in and help you.
Yeah. More than once today, you've shared of the police as helpers and healers. And that to me feels like that's what that really means is when someone that brings up something else too. The idea of maybe you can help me remember how you said it. I feel like a child or a parent wanted you to say like this is how tell my kid how the police handle bad guys and you
Yeah,
were like there are no bad guys. I was if I'm remembering correctly,
yeah.
can you share that?
Yes, someone said, tell them what you do to the bad guys. And I looked at the kid and I said, there's really no such thing as bad guys. Sometimes good people make really bad choices and they
Mm,
get in trouble for it, but they're just making very bad choices. It doesn't mean they're a bad person. And
mm.
the parent was like, oh, okay. All right. Didn't think about it that way. But and we have become, particularly in Massachusetts, with our jail diversion program,
Hmm.
our goal is to divert people because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you didn't have a choice. If someone was acting out in society and people are calling 911, your choice was to arrest the person to get them out, keep the rest of the public safe. Well,
Mm,
that's not helping anyone.
mm,
So the diversion from jail or the ER, because that's overtaxing our health system.
yeah. My son's a paramedic. Yep. I
So
know.
you
I
get it.
understand from the
So
ins. Yep.
now our goal to divert from those two choices to where Kirsten can come in, she can do a clinical assessment on scene. And the
Mm,
only people that go to the ER or to jail are people that we have no other choice. And that's the officers embrace that 100%
mm,
because we're trying to come in and solve a problem, not just band-aid it. So
mm,
we have these magnet addresses that we go to time and time and time again. Well, now that we have another option, another tool in our toolkit, if you
mm,
will,
mm-hmm.
we're hoping that instead of responding 30 times to that one person who's just got mental health or substance use disorder, some sort of issue,
Yeah.
we can get them set up with resources so that the problem is solved.
Mm.
The problem is solved so we can go do something else with our time and our energy and our efforts.
And they can feel better, right? So that they're
You're
not
helping this person.
doing
Yeah,
exactly. So they're not
it's
continuing
it's
with the bad behavior, but also so that they just feel better, because that's the goal, right?
mhm.
Um, so I thank you for all of this. This is all right. What a great conversation. I really appreciate it. Um, Shifting a little bit, and I think there's shifting a little bit into a bit more of a bigger picture, I think. And there's something related to that, which we've just touched on today. Um, One of the questions, well, I'm going to combine two. So, said with a smile, WTF. Basically about, in my sense was, it's just about the world. Like, what the heck is going on here? And not that anyone is asking you to answer that, but I would really be interested in a leader such as yourself, like what WTF, how would you respond to that?
There
And
are
then,
days that I see what's going on and I watch the news and
mhm,
I'm saying WTF.
mhm,
It sometimes it does not seem real. But at the end of the day, I try to focus on what can you control to make your world, the world around you, a better place.
mhm,
And that's all I can do is try and do what I can, what's in my control to make the world a better place for everybody.
mhm. Wow.
And there are steps that you can take that I do take that we as the Massachusetts Chiefs of Police Association are taking to try and deliberately address some of the issues that are happening nationally that we do not want to see happen in our communities here in Massachusetts. So we are
Hmm.
taking deliberate steps. It's not always out in the public,
Visible.
but
Yeah,
there
yeah,
are steps that we
yeah.
are taking.
Oh, I appreciate hearing that. It honestly, it makes me think of it's the same idea as you don't want to publicly humiliate or, I don't know, in any way make someone more insecure by shouting at them if an officer has made a mistake or done something wrong, any more than you would want to, like, these are not, I think sometimes the trust that these talks are, or these ideas are being shared so that something is happening behind the scenes, because you're doing what's in your control, and then what's in my control is to trust that that's what's happening, and then do what I can do, right?
Yeah,
It's related to this. I'll just read what this person has asked. I'm curious what any of these folks, which referring to you, Cara, to the folks in your department, and also I'm recording a series with this really wonderful. I think of it as almost a community spotlight. There's a nonprofit in Chicago called Rebels for Peace, and it is a youth-led program that goes into schools and works with littles and all the way on up through college, to or through high school to foster social emotional learning and to what they talk about is how they're helping people understand that our environment can be a product of us rather than us having to be a product of our environment.
I
And
love
so,
that.
yeah, isn't that neat? Yeah,
Hmm.
that's an amazing organization. I'm so glad to be talking with them and sharing about them. So that's what this person meant by these folks. Is it's more, it's like it's sort of a bigger thing, but I'd love to be able to bring it to you. I'm curious what you think, what you do to have hope and love in the midst of all that is happening in the community and in the world. And then how do you not burn out or blow up from from all of the, all the stuff? And then how do you get back into love and hope if you find yourself in a different state of being?
So I have to sometimes just not watch the news.
Mm,
I sometimes have to turn it off. There are a lot of people that I love and I care about, and they're people I've known my whole life. And the negativity, the constant negativity, I worry about them.
mm,
Yes, we're all, for the most part, living in uncharted territory. We're all in this, what we're going through now as a nation and a
mm,
world. Um, but I try to stay positive. Try to do again what I can,
mm,
what's in my control. Um, and sometimes you just got to stay off social media, which
mm,
is hard because I'm a curious person by nature.
mm,
But you got to stay off. And burnout is a real thing. I mean, there are some days when, some weeks even, where it's like I don't want to do this anymore.
mm,
Like I'm done.
mm,
I just had it a couple of weeks ago. I was like, said to my fiance, I said, I don't know if I can I don't know if I can keep doing this. Like,
mm,
I don't want to keep. And he was like, you need to. Basically, in his own way, if not you, then who?
mm,
Like, I do feel obligated. I think that I have energy, um, and something valuable to leave still in the profession. Uh,
mm.
so I'm a contract employee now, because I'm a chief. So it's a little bit different.
Oh, okay.
You have to be renewed or you're gone. It's not
Yeah.
like you get the job and you're there like I did for my first 28 years. So my 4-year contract ends in July,
Mm,
and I've already maxed out as far as my pension. I've been doing this for 32 years and I'm 55 years old. So every day I show up to work, I'm essentially working for 20 cents on the dollar.
wow.
Um, and that is, at the same time that it's empowering because I can leave at any time, it's
Mm,
also a little bit scary because I have not focused on what I'm going to do next. What is my next chapter? Uh,
yeah.
this week, I'm feeling like, you know what? I'm ready to go. We've got so much going on. We have the Citizens Academy next week, and we've got all these good things going on. A fundraiser for one of my officers who's got stage 4 um, cancer. So we're doing fun, and so I'm feeling very energetic. But there are a lot of days when I don't. So
Mm,
burnout is real. I don't take as good care of myself as I should.
mm.
Um,
Said every human
time
ever.
ever. Um, I should have time. My children are almost 27 and 26. They live in different parts of the country, doing their own thing. So I should have more time.
Mm,
Um, but I think it's a deliberate attention to putting yourself first, which I
mm,
have to get better at. Uh,
mm,
but burnout's real. I mean, there are times when, I have a small but very tight circle of friends, and I have about 7 or 8 girlfriends that have been my friends for decades.
mm,
And those are my therapists. Those
mm,
are Sometimes we just say we need a girls' night out because we need to be together.
mm.
Uh, most of them. They grew up
Yep.
with us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but that's what I do to keep myself from losing my mind.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. It's such an interesting point to be at where I heard a little bit of a like, well, on the other side of fear is exhilaration. It's two sides of the same coin, it feels like. So there's a little bit of like, what could be next for me? And then I think a couple of weeks ago, I was also like, how do we move forward? So you're not alone. And I think those things, it's like we find our equilibrium again a little bit, and then there's the people around us and the connections and the energy. Um, I love that you talk about the ways that you feel better, and I love that this is a moment where there's an whatever choice you make, you're making a choice kind of a thing. And it actually brings to another question that we got was what happens when Chief Rossi retires? How does what she's created not end with her?
The foundation is so secure,
Mm,
I feel.
mm-hmm.
So we have 29 people in this department, including me. I've been able to hire 12 of them.
Wow.
So that is, we were very careful in the choices that we made in who we brought on board.
Mm,
Um, the the culture and the way that we do business here, I feel strongly, and this is why I think I have a couple more years in me. I'm going to ask for one more contract
mm-hmm.
because I want to be sure that I finish what we started.
Mm,
And I think the men and women who work in this department are so happy with our department
mm,
that they're going to be the ones that carry it forward
mm,
because um, I, I have people tell me because I took a bunch of lateral transfer officers, which means they worked for another agency
mm.
before they came here. And I have some of them that come up to me and say, my wife can't believe the difference in me. I'm so happy. Um,
Wow.
and that means
Yeah.
so much to me because that means that the it's more than just the 29 of us. It's
Yeah.
all of our families and friends and the people that depend on us, that
Wow.
the ripple effect of creating this type of culture and sustaining this type of culture has on so many.
Mm, wow. I love that. Our time is short. I, the last couple of questions that I have are, again, a little bit more broad in nature, and I'm just curious what you'll say to them, and then we will say our thank yous and goodbyes.
Okay.
Um, how does Chief Rossi and her department partner I mean, without using any names, federal departments or other not leading with love departments? Like, how do you work with something that isn't what you do?
Um, we have to. And I think that what you bring in and the tone that you set and what you're willing to bring to the table, it, it does have an effect on those around you.
Mm, mm,
It's um, so we have not had any direct involvement with federal law enforcement other than we have a phenomenal relationship with the FBI
mm,
in our area. Phenomenal relationship. They're a huge help in a lot of cases. There's, people that you can get on the phone, they're going to answer their cell phone to help you out because we just don't have the technology, the resources,
mm,
the funding to do the things that we need to without our federal partners. Um, the state police, we work really well with our local barracks. The officers that, may come in their CPAC unit, which anytime there's an unattended death,
mm,
you're not in Boston, Worcester. Springfield. I think those are the only three.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Automatically, the state police have jurisdiction over the crime scene.
Okay.
So we see them often.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we have a great relationship. You know, they're very helpful, they're very thorough. That's the Middlesex District Attorney's
Mm-hmm.
CPAC people. So we work well. I think once anyone from any of our partners, because we collaborate with so many different agencies, whether it's fire, community services, the library. I mean, we have our
Mm-hmm.
hand in everything, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Once they understand who we are and how we operate, um, I think, I mean, human nature to want to follow suit and fit in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, what we were just talking about, allowing our environment to be influenced by us. It seems like that's what you do in any case.
absolutely,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was a very roundabout way of saying what you said.
It's beautiful. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
the last one is what ideas might Chief Rossi have that everyday citizens could employ to de-escalate and bring support and calm within ourselves, within our communities?
Um, I'm all for a peaceful protest. You
Mm,
know, we've had several, the officers go down, they mingle in, they're part of it. They let
mm,
people know we're just there to keep you safe.
mm,
We're just here as extra eyes and ears to make sure that everything goes okay. Um, you know, communication, just human beings communicating with one another,
mm,
talking. I mean, there's a lot of people that I really love that have very different political opinions from
mm,
me.
mm-hmm.
Doesn't make me love them any less. They're entitled to their opinions. I think just trying to understand where everybody else is coming from.
Yeah.
Explain to me where you're coming from. Talk to
Yeah.
people.
Help me understand. Wow. Whew.
That went
Uh,
by very quickly because I
it
have to tell you,
did.
I was really nervous for this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I mean, you showed up as your full self, and that's just was exactly perfect. So thank you so much.
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. If you are listening or watching and you would like to get in touch with Chief Rossi, or if you've got a question for her, um, I'm giving my contact page out, which is klockculp.com/contact. The link will be in the show notes. And I will be sure that she gets your thoughts and ideas, or questions. And I think without further ado, I'm going to say thank you so much for listening. Um, Chief Rossi, Cara Rossi, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And folks, we will see you next time.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
having
much.
me.
Bye bye.
Bye.